The famous two brothers mummies in Manchester Museum are in fact half-brothers, finally ending a 100-year-old mystery, according to the latest DNA sequencing. The mummies have two elite men, Khnum-nakht and Nakht-Ankh, dated to around 1800 BC, and are the oldest human remains in its Egyptology collection. Ever since their discovery in 1907, Egyptologists have been stumped as to whether these two men were related at all. Now, by extracting ancient DNA from their teeth and using state-of-the-art sequencing, researchers have discovered these two men share a mother, but have different fathers. What did they do? The DNA was extracted from the teeth, which captured the mitochondrial and Y chromosome fractions. This enabled the argument to be settled once and for all, as mitochondrial DNA is passed only from a mother to her son, and the Y chromosome only from a father to his son. Analysis showed that both Nakht-Ankh and Khnum-nakht belong to mitochondrial haplotype M1A1, suggesting a maternal relationship. The Y chromosome sequences were less complete, but showed variations between the two mummies. This indicated that Nakht-Ankh and Khnum-nakht had different fathers, and were thus very likely to have been half-brothers. This answered the million-dollar question, indicating the men were really half-brothers. The study, published in the Journal of Archaeological Science, is the first to successfully analyze both mitochondrial and Y chromosomal DNA in Egyptian mummies. The two brothers were important, elite men from the upper class of ancient Egypt, and one was the son of a local prince. Analysis showed that both Nakht-Ankh and Khnum-nakht belong to mitochondrial haplotype M1A1. A haplotype is a group of genes that are inherited from a single parent. The fact they share the M1A1 means they are related along their maternal lines, as this always comes down the female line. The Y chromosome sequences were less complete, but showed variations between the two mummies. This indicated that Nakht-Ankh and Khnum-nakht had different fathers, and were very likely to have been half-brothers. This answered the million-dollar question, indicating the men were really half-brothers. It was a long and exhausting journey to the results, but we are finally here, said Dr Konstantina Drosou, of the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences at the University of Manchester, who conducted the DNA sequencing. I am very grateful we were able to add a small but very important piece to the big history puzzle, and I am sure the brothers would be very proud of us. These moments are what make us believe in ancient DNA. The study, published in the Journal of Archaeological Science, is the first to successfully analyze both mitochondrial and Y chromosomal DNA in Egyptian mummies. They were first unwrapped at the museum in 1908, a year after they were discovered by the great English Egyptologist Sir Flinders Petrie and his colleagues. The pair's joint burial site, later dubbed the Tomb of the Two Brothers, was discovered at Deir Rifit, a village 250 miles south of Cairo. The undecorated rock-cut chamber contained the undisturbed burials of the two men. It was the greatest discovery of its time, occurring 15 years before Howard Carter found the tomb of the boy king Tutankhamun. Although modest in size, the tomb was remarkable both for the quality of its funeral equipment and for the enduring mystery of its occupants. Story of the two brothers. The pair's joint burial site was discovered at Deir Rifit, a village 250 miles, 400 kilometers, south of Cairo. They were found by Egyptian workmen directed by early 20th century Egyptologists, Flinders, Petrie and Ernest Mackay. Hieroglyphic inscriptions on the coffins indicated that both men were the sons of an unnamed local governor and had mothers with the same name, Khnum-nakht. It was then the men became known as the two brothers. The complete contents of the tomb were shipped to Manchester in 1908, and the mummies of both men were unwrapped by the UK's first professional female Egyptologist, Dr. Margaret Murray. Her team concluded that the skeletal morphologies were quite different, suggesting an absence of family relationship. However, in 2015, the DNA was extracted from the teeth. Analysis showed that both Nakht-Ankh and Khnum-nakht belonged to mitochondrial haplotype M1A1, suggesting a maternal relationship. The Y chromosome sequences were less complete, but showed variations between the two mummies, indicating that Nakht-Ankh and Khnum-nakht had different fathers, and were thus very likely to have been half-brothers. Hieroglyphic inscriptions on the coffins indicated both men were the sons of an unnamed local governor and had mothers with the same name, Khnum-nakht. It was then the men became known as the two brothers. Doubts were immediately raised when the complete contents of the tomb were shipped to Manchester in 1908. The complete contents of the tomb were unwrapped by the UK's first professional female Egyptologist, Dr. Margaret Murray. It was one of the first scientific studies of bodies from ancient Egypt. Her team concluded the skeletal morphologies were quite different, suggesting the men were not even blood relations. Based on contemporary inscriptional evidence, it was proposed one of the brothers was adopted. So, in 2015, the DNA was extracted from the teeth which captured the mitochondrial and Y chromosome fractions.